Hello and welcome to another devlog. In this one I'll be talking about some of the core game loop that I've been working on. What you're seeing here is a very rough implementation of a mission selection screen. Now if you watched the first devlog, you've seen something very similar to this in very poor graphics, and mind you, this is very work in progress. Like the book in the background where the mission is displayed on is definitely not textured correctly. As you can see on the open pages, all the text is just hovering and doesn't really align with the page. I'll figure that out. Anyway, what you can see here is the different banners on these icons represent the mission difficulty, and you can see that the book changes when you hover over them, the different missions. Now, eventually, I hope to have some, scrolling, like pages flipping, so you can see, it's a bit more immersive. It'll be some kind of magic book still, but it'll update in a much nicer way. Now you can see here, this is the first progress I made on it. It's just to add a bit of description, I guess, but also the difficulty, highlight that to correspond with the stuff on the mission tokens. Here you can see that I updated with the expected resistance. I'm so sorry, I left the mouse on screen while recording. Please forgive me. So as you can see, I'm just highlighting all this stuff. Fortunately, those are not yet hooked up to the missions. The missions actually have a level manager in them that has this info, but right now I'm actually switching over to scriptable objects, and these use scriptable objects, and I kind of want to pass that on to the missions. Anyway, here I'm just showing that I also hooked it up so it now works. This is like a very, very bare bones mission. You only have to kill 3 enemies. So here it says hit the bell to start the match. The match has begun, the enemies are coming, they're spawning in. So I basically just put in 3 enemies just so you can see like the game loop working without me having to kill like 10 of them. And I mean, the hit detection is still a little bit buggy, and you can see I have some refinement to do on the hit number indications, and also I have to update some of the dismemberment. You know, it's a game that's work in progress. Anyway, mission successful, and the stats are displayed there for the mission, as I point at, and then you hit the bell to return again. I still have to implement them attacking and you losing and stuff, and you can select any other. I don't believe I do in this video, but yeah, you can. Yeah, here I'm trying to display that you return to the keep. You get a, well, loot box is a treasure chest, and as your reward. Anyway, here I'm showing something failed I did. So these are the lines, the whooshing cartoony lines. I tried updating them to this fancy effect, which looks decent here. Mind you, I'll show you a clip in a moment how it looks on the right eye. This is on the left eye. It looks decent. I can tweak that so it looks decent. And this is the 3rd attempt at something more subtle. I'll probably turn that up, but for now I just went back to the first thing. I'll see the right eye here because it uses a depth buffer. That's how it looks, and it looks terrible in VR. Now there might be a solution for this, but it requires some custom stuff. I don't think it's not a priority right now. I'll return to it. Yeah, I guess I'm rushing through this because I recorded all this ahead of time. So yeah, back to the modular walls I made last devlog. This is basically just to highlight that I played around with the shaders quite a bit over the last couple days, weeks, whatever. Not week, less than a week, I don't know. Yeah, so basically I made a shader for the environment. Right now I'm just showing on the stone walls, but they'll be applied to a lot of the environment, and mind you, I'll still do some tweaking. So basically I'll go through and demonstrate it, so I'll just comment on when I play around with it. But basically it's to make it not as uniform as it was before, be able to tweak the style of it, be able to tweak how it blends into the terrain. English is hard. Alright, so I think I'm about to play with some values here. So I made it so that it blends into the ground texture. Well, I have to set that manually. There's a couple of things I want to do there. I can control, you know, the height of it on a global scale, and I can control the softness of it and also the global amount of it. Let's see, I'll probably show, yeah, so there's a top layer of dirt to it. Mind you, I could put in anything here really. Right now I just put in a dirt alpha texture that I quickly made. Now this could be moss or snow. It could be anything really. Lava, I don't know. Yeah, but yeah, probably snow and moss and dirt is what I'll use it for. Here I just demonstrate with, it was a bit easier to highlight than the blendy in brownish color. Let me see, I'm probably about to show, yeah, so I also hooked it up to a curvature map for the environment, so I can tweak sort of, I can emphasize the AO side of it a little bit more in a way, so I can, you know, make it dirtier in the crevasses. Crevice? English is hard. In the pits, in the holes. So here I'm demonstrating that I also hooked it up to vertex painting. I'm just using 2 channels right now. I'll probably figure out something to do on the 3rd layer. So I have the top dirt and the bottom dirt layer, moss and dirt, whatever you want to call it. And I can paint it in, paint it out. That's a little bit harsh. I put it to full opacity, I think, but you know, you can get it from nothing to that and everything in between. Just tricking the global levels by the looks of it. Yeah. So I think I'm just gonna fiddle around with it a little bit more on video here, if I remember the recording. I'm probably also gonna toil around it. I also did a bunch of work on LODs, levels of detail models, for nearly every object in the game. Right now nothing has it in, and it's, at this point, it's sort of on purpose ish, because I kind of want to wait, look at the performance, and then plop them all in and see how much of a difference it actually makes. Mind you, I will do it, but I'm kind of curious, you know, instead of adding one all the time, just trickle them in. You don't really see how much you gain, and I'm curious. I want to see how much I gain. So I'll definitely make that a video. I'll also do some texture optimizations. Yeah, I'm also working on some other shaders, because I think Unity kind of wastes some of the memory in the disk space with the way they handle textures and their shaders, how they use their different maps. Anyway, I just wanted to show off here towards the end. I was working on some magical weapon effects. This is just like a quick tease, because there's no particles or anything on them yet. There's no interactions. There's no smoke or thing coming off of it. It's just, you know, that was a flaming electricity effect. And this is actually only one shader, and it uses no textures. It's just different blended noises and, you know, them masking upon each other. You can make anything from a frosty axe to an electrical axe to a flame to some kind of powered, glowy, pulsating thing. It's really just the same shader, just tweaking the values. There's no difference in textures. There's no difference in anything other than a couple of values. It's super simple. So I'm definitely motivated to do more on that. Anyway, I'll wrap this up, and I'll definitely be back with more very soon. Thank you very much for watching. Bye!